Thank you. God bless you, everyone, for coming. Those of you who are new here for the first time, hold on to your hats. It's about to get real. And what I mean by that is we live in almost like a matrix. We live in a world that we have been told is real, that represents all the negative about humanity. And on this planet, we have a history of wars and betrayals, not only in religion, which is the worst, but in every facet of life. So how do we get into the real? What is the real? Saint Germain gave this meditation about the flame of God that lives inside every one of his children. This flame is eternal. This God flame is the source of life. It is also the source of love. It is the source of all good. We have to go beyond our minds, beyond our experiences, and go into the heart, the secret chamber, or the crystal chamber of the heart, where this God flame lives. Have you ever noticed when people introduce themselves, they say, "My name is so-and-so," and they point to their heart. They don't say, "My name," and they point to their brain. There is a place in the human body where the God flame is. It's not a religion. It's not a belief. It's not a doctrine. It's something you know is there. And by entering into it, you go into the eternal. You go into a place of bliss, of joy. And you come back with this anointing of the Spirit, of the living God, of the living truth. And you bring that forward in time and space. And the ones who are trapped in the matrix, the ones who believe CNN and ABC and all the news stations, the ones who are trapped in the maya of making money and buying toys, more toys, and the competition and the dog-eat-dog world, they will all of a sudden see something in your face, something in your eyes that reminds them of where they came from. This truth, this light that you are, that we all are, that took this form for this short period of time. The problems of earth can't be solved with fighting, warring against. Only by people waking up one after another. They are the light. They are the love. They are this truth, eternal, in embodiment. And then you will see brotherhood, sisterhood, peace on earth, cooperation, collaboration, tolerance, all those things. So what we're going to try to do tonight, what we will do, what you will see, is this light. It's inside you, and it will be inside this room. So let's start this meditation, and we'll light this candle. Please rise with me. Father, Mother, God, We come looking for you. We come to sit at your feet, to look into your eyes, to hear your voice, to feel your peace. To become the Christ, the Buddha, the light, as sons and daughters of God in embodiment. In the name of the Christ, I open the door between heaven and earth. Let the angels of God fill this room with the Holy Spirit, with the radiant light, with peace and joy and wisdom. Let the fire and the electric power of Almighty God fill each one here and on the broadcast. Let reality be present in the here and now, in this eternal now. Thank you. So this is a stillness meditation. You can do whatever practice you like. Saint Germain has said that stilling the body is first. Commanding the body to be still will allow you to command your mind. In that stillness, reflected back to you will be a light, a peace. Stay very aware, stay very present, stay very clear. Something will happen in this room. In your stillness is your power. The power of the God within you, for you to see with your spiritual senses your real self. There are invisible helpers here. Not just your guardian angels, but other angels who will be assisting in this meditation. Choose, use your free will to become the light, to be the light, to know the truth, to go beyond anything that you've ever learned. Like a child, see for the first time, hear for the first time, feel the brush of angel wings, and go into the loving arms of the light. Coming back. Place your attention on your heart chakra. Breathe into your heart and exhale love. As you breathe in the divine light of the Divine Mother, the giver of life, you're exhaling love as you co-create a beautiful world for others to live. And notice that the heart expands and grows as you place your attention on it. Breathing in light, exhaling love. And know that these energies actually you are birthing into time and space divine creations, forms, structures that the angels and the invisible beings that grow our food and maintain our clean air for Mother Earth need. So for a few moments, let us fill this earth with our divine love as each of us emanated at a slightly different frequency. For a few moments, breathe in light, exhale love. And now with your eyes closed, visualize everyone in your family, everyone in your life, and let their faces appear before your closed eyes. And breathe in light and exhale love to them, healing love, illuminating love, freeing love. Lastly, as a group, In the name of the Christ I call to you, beloved Saint Germain, beloved Jesus, beloved Mother Mary, to the ascended masters and to the 7 holy archangels, to multiply this alchemy of divine love and light, to do it with us as we all sit under the God flame, as we all sit inside the God reality of our divine presence. And let us see the earth in the middle of this room, the blue planet. And we are going to wash the earth with light. As we breathe in the light, let's exhale the love and feed our Mother Earth with our God presence, our stamp of love, eternal. And all the beings that live on this planet, may they feel this joy. May they know their source. Let's do it together. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. And then exhale love. As a pink, rosy pink light, soft. And let's see the earth now with a light, a glow. A new day is born. One more time. The earth requires love. We all require love. And I think, as we see the wars and the divisions between all the countries, the problems between men and women, especially in the Middle East and North Korea and other places where there's such darkness. We as light workers, when we come together in these little circles, make a difference. The angels can spot us from 1,000,000 miles away as they see the light. As we contact the light, we go beyond our minds and beyond time and space. Because they are wiser and older than us and created to help us and to help maintain the universe, they rejoice, they celebrate, and they will sing the most amazing songs when someone is contacting their God flame and emanating light and helping them consciously. The angels are a big part of this creation as we have mankind, the angelic kingdom, and then the nature kingdom. And when we open that door of spirit to their light and their assistance, we can move mountains. In the Heart Center movement, we do many prayers to the angels, especially Archangel Michael. He is the defender of the divine woman. And historically, the divine feminine has been ignored or shut down completely by the patriarchal macho men that rule the world. And we all know that's true, that the women hold the spiritual flame for the family. It is the mother that holds the flame of love that sustains the family. And beyond that, the Divine Mother bursts into time and space. The new frequencies of love that are coming from the Divine Mother herself and teaching it to her children and teaching it to her husband. Men, we have a different role as sons of Alpha. And I don't mean Alpha in the Hollywood sense, but in the highest conceivable sense of God as Father. God as Father, sitting beyond time and space, who said, "Let there be light." And the Divine Mother said, "And there is light." And so together they work, creating universes. Together they bring existence into time. Men, as sons of Alpha, we are the protectors of the Divine Feminine. And if we're smart, if we pay attention, we too are blessed by the Divine Feminine. So, that's just a little understanding about the relationship as God the Father, Alpha, God the Mother as Omega, as seen by the ancient Hebrews in the Kabbalah. And those two letters, it's so simple, but it is so beyond our mind's capability of understanding how it works. The way I deal with it is I stay like a child and just watch the Divine Mother and try to follow what she does, and then I go into spirit and sit beyond time and space and sit with Father and try to attune to His will. And that's the yin and the yang. And I think the masters, especially the Master Saint Germain, has articulated it and lived it as one of my greatest examples and my spiritual hero. I have to do a little introduction here. The Temple of Clarity here is in Vista, California. For those of you online on Facebook, on YouTube, and in the Heart Center website, I want to welcome you. I didn't do that. Thank you for joining us. I could feel your presence here.
It's okay, the energy was already coming in. We were trying to talk.
They all know how things are. So, people ask me, what is the Heart Center? And we all know what the Heart Center is. It's the place where the God flame is. It's also a spiritual movement of light workers from every walk of life, every tradition, mystics, East and West. As mystics, as I see it, is those who rely on direct experience, where they're more than book knowledge, more than other people's experience, their direct experience. And the path of mysticism is a step in the soul's progress towards its fulfilling its final destiny and becoming the light and merging with the source. I think those who are truly love God, truly love, go beyond what anything they have read. They have to you have to have courage. We look at our parents and they teach us a religion, a belief system. We go to school, they enforce that belief system, that religion, if you go to like a Catholic school like I did. And we're told not to go beyond. It takes courage. It takes a greater faith in the belief that God is love, that there is something bigger than any book can contain. And that's been my way, my path, most of my life. And the Heart Center is a group of just light workers, mystics. We come together, we do these little meditations, we perform prayers, we get new revelation from what the masters are revealing to mankind. There is a living messenger of the Ascended Masters. Of course, we all get messages from the Ascended Masters. It's not, but he has a special purpose and direction as the mantle of the prophet, like in the Old Testament. And those messages are very timely and very inspirational. And oftentimes, if you're there in the room when one of these messages, the message applies to you. As he is like the mouthpiece of God. And the Holy Spirit speaks through him. And David is such a humble person and such a wonderful example also. So that is something about the Heart Center. What I'd like to do now is Monica and Ava and I, we went to see Amma, the hugging saint. And Ava and I went twice to get 2 hugs. If you don't know who Amma is, take a moment and look it up on the internet, who she is. She is a living avatar, probably the highest example besides Yogananda, with no controversies. She's just pure love. And Ava said, Amma, when she dies, she's going straight to God. So we all know that when you're in her presence. And what I'd like to do is share a gift from Amma to you. For those of you present, as Ava and I were walking past Amma, she was throwing rose petals on us. And I had bought some trinkets and whatnot, and I had a bag. And so I walked up to Amma and I opened the bag. And so now take one of these little flower petals. That is your personal gift. She knew that I would be giving you these. Take it home, put it on your altar. Amma has hugged over 30 million people. She probably, in history of mankind, there has never been one person who has given more in charitable causes. One single person in the history of mankind has never given more to charitable causes than Amma. Nobody knows about her. She's not looking for fame or fortune. She doesn't even charge for the hugs. It costs a lot of money to rent these buildings and everything. Somehow, when she hugs people, there's a transmission that is hard to describe. I've had some very amazing moments in my life, and some of the most amazing have been with Amma. I have a picture of her that I bought, a kind of a unique picture, as she is kind of blue. And I looked at it and I go, what is this picture? It's blue. In Hinduism, which is Amma's tradition, Krishna was born blue. Amma was born blue. And sometimes she emanates like this blue light. Sometimes it's a very white light. And most of the time it's a very, very pink light, which is just so thrilling to be around her. You don't want to leave. And time stands still. What I'd like to do now is, since we have so many new people, we'll just pass the mic around, and we have many people who are spiritual teachers and those on different backgrounds. And I'll just start with myself and tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Dennis Fisher. I was born in Santa Monica, St. Monica. Grew up in San Clemente. And when I was 14 or 15, I was watching a sunset on top of a hill which was called Church Hill in San Clemente. And as I watched the sunset, the sun was communicating with me in a language that didn't have words. But at that time I knew what the sun was saying about reality, that what I was brought up in was not the real reality of, not the way it is in heaven. And I kind of knew this, and I was longing for the answer, and I must have pierced, my prayer must have pierced the sun in the heart of, must have pierced the heart of the sun, because the light came back to me and was talking to me. And after that I went on a search, and I found some of the teachings of the Ascended Masters, especially Saint Germain, which you see here on this wall over here, the Master Saint Germain. Of course, I love Jesus, and he loves me. And we have Kuan Yin and the Buddhas above. And the truth of reality that they saw resonated more than the reality that I was being told by my family and my church at the time. As an altar boy, there was something about the Via Dolorosa, the Stations of the Cross, the Sorrowful Way. And I said, I can see how it could be sorrowful if you follow that way, but there must be another way. There must be a way of light and joy, and I got to find it. And so that's been my journey.
How to make this succinct. I'm Lori Grant, also called Uri or Ma Uri. I was born psychic. It sort of didn't get shut off in me. And I had started being a spiritual teacher at a very young age, teaching that we are all our divine selves. And in 1987, I had a near-death experience. And the near-death experience, as you've all heard, if you haven't already had one, that all that exists on the other side is such unconditional love. There's no way our human bodies can even imagine that. And so my first thought was to send some of that to my children. And I heard a voice that said, they're all your children, and your job is to go back and to remind them of who they are. Well, I knew what, remind them who they are. I was already reminding them that they were their divine selves, but they're all your children, and it was repeated twice with emphasis. What did that mean? Continued to teach, became an international teacher, traveled all over the world. I was very blessed. And then in 2003, I had a oneness experience where I became one with the divine and one with everything, samadhi, as you would say, changed my life. Then in 2007, I was an invited guest to go to an ashram in India, and I went into the same state. At the ashram, they have what they call divine beings or cosmic beings or awakened beings that are just in that state 24/7. And so I went there with them because I went there with them. And fortunately, I had told my friends that I went with, don't let them keep me. And they said, why would they keep you? I'm saying, I have no idea. I mean, why would they keep me? But apparently they'd never seen a Westerner do that before, so they wanted to keep me. I came home. Within a year, I started, and when I had the oneness experience in 2003, I didn't see anything separate from me, outside of me anymore. I was just one with everything. So in 2008, after coming back from India, I saw the Divine Mother outside of me. And actually Yogananda at the Lake Shrine had told me, this is a long story, told me blah, 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 blah. Anyway, to honor the Divine Mother, it was time for her to come back. No, people had forgotten, just like Dennis was saying. And then I, shortly after that, saw the Divine Mother. She began to merge with me, and then eventually I was initiated as a embodiment of her. And the validation of that is that I got vibhuti. She said to me, and you can make vibhuti. You know what vibhuti is? Everybody's sacred ash that the masters make in India. And I said, why would I want to make vibhuti? You know, my whole message is oneness. And if I'm making vibhuti and nobody else is, then, you know, how is that oneness? If you want to make all of my 25,500 students all over the planet make vibhuti, that would work for me. Anyway, then she blasted me with so much energy to initiate me. I went unconscious and woke up in the morning, opened my blinds, and there was this dust all over my altar. I couldn't figure out why there's dust all over my altar. Oh, it is not dust. It is vibhuti. Every morning, sweeping it up. Every morning, vibhuti all over the altar. Another really interesting thing that I have just recently began to tell a couple of people is one of the other things that comes with that is what they call divine nectar comes out of the body. How do I tell you this without? There's a reason why I wear scarves. Everybody have a picture of that? Okay. It was just drips at that level, at that time. And now and then, not all the time. Then I started to have I was traveling out of the world, would wake up, not know where I was. It was more than my body could handle. I retired. You know, how does a Divine Mother emanation retire? Well, really you don't, but say you're doing it. So I retired a couple years ago. And then coming to Dennis's, I'm giving you credit for setting the stage for all of this, Dennis, because in the last few months, all of this Divine Mother emanation has come back much, much, much more strongly and higher and higher levels. And so more of the validation that I wear scarves for has come in massive quantities. Not sure why, if anybody knows what. So I would love to know if that happens to Amma. I have heard that that happens to other Divine Mother embodiments. Anyway, so there you have it. And I am always on the edge of, you know, how do you live in this world and not be of it, or be of this world but not live in it. I don't know which it is. So there you have it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Lori. I'm Shirley, and I'm a nurse and a midwife and a healer, traveler, adventurer, and I'm on the path. And I also had the opportunity to see Amma, and it was a wonderful experience. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Callum. This is my first time here. Is this too loud? I can't actually tell. I'm speaking well? Okay. All right. Let's see. So I studied as an engineer. I'm an engineer now. But I find my field to be very dry by comparison to what experience is. And so I've been searching for something more for a few years now, maybe like 4. I've researched a lot of the things that Dennis spoke of today. And so it's really amazing to see a community of people actually exist outside of, you know, my own imaginations. So I'm excited to learn more from you, and yeah, thank you for being here. Unfortunately, I do have to go though. My time is up for tonight, but thank you guys so much. This was a lovely experience. Oh, I do want to share one more thing that off of what Lori said. I recall that somewhere I read that something like enlightenment is when you see the game or see everything as it is, but don't interrupt the flow of being. And well, I've been searching for that, and I screw it up all the time. So yeah, something like that. Yeah, right. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'll be on my way now. I wish I could hear the rest of you speak, but it'll have to be another time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. Okay, I will. Right. Thank you, guys.
Hi, everybody. I'm Monica Berry. I was born in Salvador, Bahia, Brazil. And I came here in 2006. I fell in love with the country in San Diego County. And stay here since then. And I, like Dennis, start seeing and feeling and receiving the call to study and reading different kinds of religions. And I always felt that we had something deeper than everybody was talking about or teaching us or deciding us to do it. I always felt in my heart that we all have something between us and the nature. And I love the angels. I always like to be praying and singing. I like to sing. I love to dance. And I was blessed one day, about 2 years ago, when I decided to look online and found the meetup and came to Dennis. And when I met Dennis and Eva, I so blessed that I knew that I belonged here. And thank you, Dennis, for that. Thank you, Eva.
Hi, my name is Lori Brainerd. I am a angelic mystic, medium, and healer. I was open as a very young child and learned very quickly, because I was not of a family who understood these things, to just keep it to myself. So I ended up, I would say in my teenage years, closing up for a while and just going on with quote-unquote normal life. And in 2008, I had a dramatic, horrible experience happen to me. But at the same time, it opened me completely back up. And I had total conversations with my guides, who are the archangels and the ascended masters. And it's been a wonderful journey. And that's all I have to say.
Hi, I'm Jeanette. And I remember when I was 22, I started to get introduced to the spiritual realm of things, and got involved with Oscar Hichazo and Tai Chi, and I've been on a spiritual path ever since. And I moved to Seattle, and I found a spiritual community there, and I've been here in San Diego, and through the church, and mostly through the making of the music that I do. I feel like I'm a spiritual channel for. Yeah, I can do a little. I can do that. So music for me is the way I channel what God has for all of you to hear, and I feel very blessed. And I say thank you to him, or to her, him to her. I take that on very joyfully.
My name is Carlos Calderon. I was born in El Salvador, Central America. I'm coming from a family of sensitive and spiritual healers and mediums. I was introduced into the ways of the mother through my mother, which she used to decode messages from the trees and from the birds that came to sit up on the trees. And I was in awe, and I didn't understand anything what she was doing. But somewhere a part of me, of myself, was being instructed into not to view these messages in the form of letters, words, or any written methods of communication, but just to be with it. And that being with it was an introduction to nature, to the life-giving properties of plants, flowers, the frogs, the birds. I started listening to vibrations of the different rocks, and that not all the trees were vibrating the same, but they have a different resonance. And once I was gazing at the sea, at the ocean, and the ocean and the sky became one. And from that unity, geometrical forms, just to give you an example, like the windows of Notre Dame, unfurled from that union. And something told me that God is speaking to me with the language of the rainbow. Because the language of the rainbow is in harmonic unity of different frequencies, which at the end is not to be decoded with the brain or the intellect. But I understood that the only way to decode them is through the heart. So at that given moment, I felt that I was born alone, but in company of the gnomes. I was born naked, but covered by the greenish of the mother. And then I understood that the wind whistled in such a manner that blowing me and wrote his name in the tablet on my heart. So I was confused. I was looking for a direction. But yet something in me was realizing that there was no direction. I was the way. And he was in me, and I was in him. So what I feel inclined is actually, and I'm so thankful for being here with all of you, is to participate in this frequency, that this collective meditation in silence is revealing the language which has no words, but it has a resonance that is so nourishing, is so sustaining, for the only way I've been told is the way of the heart. Thank you very much for allowing me to express.
And you're going to be doing your thing next week.
Yeah, on Tuesday next, I'm going to do something which I feel very well of doing it, which is actually an expression of all the symbolisms I've been receiving through my youth, through my whole lifetime, which is an expression in sounds of that very nature I'm coming from, and which is composed of all the elements: the wind, the sun, the earth, the trees. And that is something which is also very, very simple. It doesn't need an intelligent people to understand. Is the language I was talking about. It's about the language of the heart. And so I hope to see you here and being able to share that experience. And that will be after the meditation, which will lay the foundations. And the frequency to use, to infuse something which is not in contradiction with it, but a complement of it. Thank you.
My name is Tracy, and this is my first time here, and it is an honor and a joy to be with the light that you all carry. I grew up in a conservative household in the Midwest, and I have to say that my awareness that a certain light that I carried was a healing kind of light was there from an early age, but I've been a very reluctant participant in manifesting that and learning how to manifest that. I'm an artist, so that was part of the way the light came out. Certified in energy medicine, working with hospice patients. And so there have been several ways that I've explored the light and the healing light, including in business. And it's wonderful to hear about the stories of shaman and mystics and people who are very aware of how they use the light that they carry. I think it's also possible to bring it in so many different forms like business. And I was really surprised when I realized that I was a general contractor, and through building houses and doing construction work with construction workers, you can bring light and do healing in that sort of an environment. So it's a very varied path, and I moved down from the Bay Area. I had a real strong spiritual community developed up in the Bay Area, and I've been here for 8 years, and it's been spiritually, it's taken me time to find my family here, and I feel like another piece has fallen into place. So thank you.
My name is Boris Lubomirov Mitov. And I'll tell you what that means. Boris in Bulgarian means Boaga Oris, which means blessed destiny. Lubomirov is loving peace. My middle name is loving peace, and my last name is Mitov, like from the myths. So blessed destiny, loving peace from the myths. And, well, in Bulgaria it's very interesting. You carry the middle name from the father. So my father's name was Lubomir, and I got Lubomirov. And it's like Russian, yeah. Russian, they're similar. We get given to the Russians the Cyrillic alphabet. Cyril and Methodius. They created the alphabet so they can give the Bible to the world, and we were able to write in our own language, in our own alphabet. And what we are speaking in Bulgarian, we can write it with Cyrillic alphabet, not Russian. Bulgarian. So I come from a land of very ancient land of mystics. Orpheus was in our lands. The Thrakis, they were very connected with the sun energies. We are very, very, very connected to spiritual traditions. The Bulgarian culture, all the folk dances, they carry that very special frequency of the sun. So some of the movements in panurhythmy that I teach are exactly with that frequency that connects you directly to the sun frequencies. That's very unique. Nowhere in the world has that frequency. Every else is different beats, but Bulgarians are very different. So basically, I have started with different spiritual practices from early age, and age 8, my mother was taking me to Silva method, so I can go into alpha state and then do some creations and using my mind in a powerful way to create stuff. I have gone through all sorts of different experiences. And I had my Reiki initiation in 1997, like the 6th generation, directly from the source, from Usui. So that was super powerful. When they did the initiation, I was with closed eyes. I felt like so much energy went through my entire body. It was like, wow, what she did. But she did something very powerful. And since then, I was able to heal many people and myself when I need it. You know, I can just send energy to people. And so powerful to be able to have that experience, to be able to heal people. So that was another level. I've always loved dance and different forms. I was in folk dancing for like 5 years when I was early age, and we were going in tours, different parts of the, in St. Petersburg and different places. So from there, I have done Tai Chi, have done just different types. So my spiritual background mostly comes from the teaching of Ben Saduno. Ben Saduno, he's a universal master that has lived in Bulgaria from 1960 till 1944. And when he was speaking, beings from other parts of the universe would come and listen to his lectures, not just the people. So he has given teaching for the next 2,000 years, basically. And this is the method. The key to his teaching is the panurhythmy. That's a special meditation dance that is like 45 minutes to an hour. And you express ideas through movement with beautiful music. 3,000 people are doing it now in August. So I'm going to Bulgaria, and we're going to be part of that. That will be very exciting. So I was teaching to the Heart Center, the panurhythmy. I just returned yesterday. Dennis picked me up from the airport. We had 1 week amazing in Montana, beautiful mountains in Montana. We had a beautiful communication with the sun and the nature, and we were barefoot dancing in nature. So a beautiful, beautiful experience. I highly recommend to anybody to experience that and learn it. This is made for this time. You know, yoga was given in the time when it was involution, the spirit was going into the matter, but now we're in the ascending time when we're going into evolution, and this is given as a community, not just for yourself, but you have to be with people and do it together. So that's the specialness of this. And with the music, the power of music connects you directly to the divine world. And there is the energy. When you embody the idea, it's so much more powerful than just think about it but you actually do it, and you become one with it. And because all the movements are taken from the nature, you're really connected. And you're not just talking about connecting to nature. You're actually in nature connected. Everything becomes so much more alive. So this is my mission that I want to spread, that the Ben Saduno has given that teaching to the Bulgarians, and that was his mission. And he said the missions of the Bulgarians are given to the world. So I'm sharing his teachings. And there's like 7,000 lectures, 300 music pieces. There's a lot to learn. There's so much. So I'm happy to reconnect with some people, get some new information, new insights, and it will be powerful. Yeah, and help my mother also. So I'm happy to be here. We started actually this meditation circle with Dennis and Paul Scott. We were just 3 people in the beginning, and then gradually grew and get to become this. So it's really, I have amazing experiences in this place. Amazing, amazing. If you come more often, you get different things every time. It's very powerful. Temple of Clarity.
Hello, my name is Chris, and pleasure to be with all of you tonight. Thanks to Boris for inviting me and sharing about this wonderful space, and really grateful to have experienced the energy here. I've actually been looking for some place to be in a more meditative, open space, so without being maybe denominational or, affiliated with anything. So I'm grateful to have found that, and a silent meditation place as well, because I've been to other meditations where they're guiding it the whole time, and just like, I just want to be with my own presence. So grateful for that experience, and the beautiful masters here. I'm very curious who these masters are. I feel a real connection with them too. Quickly, a little background about myself. I grew up in a very conservative religious community too, resonate with what Tracy was talking about. My parents, they were both in an arranged marriage, actually. They followed a kind of messianic figure, and I was, born as obviously as a product of that marriage, and and then I always had a questioning though in my mind, like I had all these experiences growing up, but there was always part of me I felt that was a little bit detached, like what is this experience all about? And eventually I was asked to be in an arranged marriage myself, actually in a mass arranged marriage in Korea with like 30,000 other couples, getting married together, and you find out like who your arranged partner is like 10 days before the actual ceremony. So there's a lot of pressure, one could say, around that type of environment. So that kind of compelled me though into a deeper spiritual path. I did not end up going into that marriage deeper. Kind of after about a couple months, 9 months or so, I decided to separate myself from that and then leave that community and go on a kind of a spiritual quest that led me to first to a community in Trinidad with some would say an enlightened guru master, and then from there I went to South America and met some Siberian shamans, ended up traveling with them, apprenticing with them for some time. They said, hey, you should come meet our teacher in Siberia. So I said, okay, why not? I'll do that. So I went to Siberia for a little bit, and they were saying, oh, he's the Messiah, and I was like, oh no, I don't think you're, I know another one who says he is the Messiah. I say, I think you have to get the story straight here. So after that experience, I came back, I've kind of felt a little bit like a spiritual lone wolf. Like part of me, gets a lot of nourishment from different experiences, different groups, but I'm really yearning to find, I guess, a path where I can really feel connection and be in a space of not being the doer, because I notice if I'm in a space of thinking it's me or thinking I'm somehow responsible for it, it just leaves these traces that cause suffering and, more grief in the end. So just, I guess my next real desire is to really connect with or find that, whatever that path or that calling spiritual practice is, to really get to that space of being just a channel and not feeling like I'm doing anything. And, if I'm meant to teach, I'm open to that, but I just don't want to be coming from a place of thinking I have something to teach or that I want to give you something and I know more than you kind of thing, because I've seen a lot of that in my life already. So anyways, grateful for the space, look forward to coming back, going deeper into the energy, and connecting to all that is without any expectations. Thank you so much.
My name is Carrie Lake, and thank you everybody for sharing. It's really fun to like hear and feel and go, oh yeah, oh that's so cool, that's so cool. Like how cool everybody is. So my first memory was watching an infant's hand float into my vision and like looking at it going, wait, I know what that is. And then when I realized it was a hand, then I was like, oh my God, I'm back. This is awesome. Yes, I'm human again. And just knowing, like, okay, this is going to be epic. I know what to do this time. I know what I'm not doing this time. And it just all sort of dropped in right there. And then I just sort of went back into what an infant does next, for a while. Age 3, watching and listening to my parents fight, just standing with my friend the willow tree. And the tree and I were like, what is going on here? Like, why are they doing this weird? They, like, come on, this is so obvious. You don't have to. And that when I was 3, in those moments of, honestly, distress, I just dropped right back into myself. It's like, okay, I'm going to show them a different way. And that was commitment right there from my higher levels right through me. And then, of course, then the page turns and you go back to whatever a 3-year-old does, But there wasn't ever really that feeling like shutting down. I was always there watching, but managing, navigating, trying to figure out, all right, well, maybe I'll try it their way, even though it's, ouch, but okay. If I'm the only one that sees it, then maybe I'm doing it wrong. And I'll try it. And so that was what my life was like. And the horses found me really early and were my friends. So there was always this brilliant light of realness. And next to horses, I could feel myself. That's the gift that they have always been, which is so brilliant now, watching so many people and programs, horse assisted this and that and the other. There are so many people that can feel that purity and are sharing it in different ways. So around age 11, I had my entourage, and we had regular chats all the time. And I was told, okay, so I would watch my family and watch how my body changed. My physicality would change when different emotions walk in the room, or different people and different thoughts, and started to map out what all that was. And my family, because it was a we, it wasn't a me, it was we. They said, okay, so pay attention to how you're learning this, because then you can teach it. So since age 11, I've been paying attention to things for the ability to teach it. And it took a long time to figure out how to communicate with humans, because communicating with animals in nature is cakety cake. It's like breathing. So when I was in my 30s, though, and then the same thing, family not receptive. I was doing energetic work when I was 3 and 4 years old, and they're like, stop it, Carrie, it looks weird. And so again, it didn't get shut down, but I just, would fidget instead, Anyway, and it was uncomfortable. So when I was in my 30s was the first time that somebody approached me and could see me. And I was just managing a little animal rescue place, and she walked right up to me and she goes, "You're used to healing with your being, and you don't let anybody see what you're doing." And I'm like, oh, you have words. Teach me words. Because I had no spiritual thing. There was no language or anything, nothing, no guidance. And so that's when I started coming across teachers and books, and lots of books with Yeshua and Jesus were just handed to me, and I'm like, well, that's so funny, because that feels just like you guys, and so it just sort of started the integration. And so now I've written a couple of books that are very just easy reading, but for those with eyes, there's just it's just the light, right in there, and here it is, you guys, take it for yourself. And I am blessed to tootle around and teach, but very low key, because there's always been this other aspect of knowing in this life I would not wield resources or even true power until I was absolutely free of corruption and free of the dark influences that take your ankles out from under you. And then you go, oh man, I did it again. And I just didn't want to destroy anything this lifetime. So what I do is really small at this point, but brilliant and beautiful and unique, working very much with the mind and honoring that, especially now, living in this world. I lived in Silicon Valley for most of my childhood. And so it's like, how do you navigate numbness when you're all this? So now it's an honor to meet people's minds where they're at and then go, yes, right there. Now, here's a question. Oh, isn't that awesome? Can you feel that? And it's like bringing people back to kindergarten to provide the education that we weren't given in kindergarten, and with all the activation and all of that quiet, energetic work that happens, So I'm happy. Met you guys, I don't know, a couple of years ago. Yes, you were, because I still don't own a car. But to come here and just receive again, and it's so much more now. There's so much more space now, and there's the richness and the frequency is so delicious, and I'm so grateful that you're still here and that I'm still welcome, and to touch back in is I just feel like now I'm at this place of just the beginning again of like, okay, let's kick it up a notch, and I really don't know how it's all going to unfold next. But I'm showing up for it, and I can't wait. Isn't it wonderful? I mean, everything is awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'm just quite aware that everything is crumbling and arising at the same time. So thank you all for being here and for the opportunity to share, because that was fun.
Well, thank you so much. I would love for you to come and do that healing work again sometime. Maybe in August, if that works in your schedule. I think July is pretty booked. We have Carlos, and we have Reverend Blake Isaac, and then we have Reverend Hal Lingerman, who is going to talk about his mystical path, and also he's written, I think, 3 or 4 books on music, on angel music, and just a real authority on music. He studied it all of his life. I think he was probably a composer in a past life. But there are these pieces of music that exist that are directly inspired by the angels, and they're very powerful, and he has cataloged them. Not all music is inspired, as we all know, but I had this conversation with him on Sunday. He goes to Quest Haven. Music is a door to the heaven worlds, to higher dimensions. Or it can be a door to a negative place. And how music. So Hal, I was having this conversation with him, and I can see in his eyes that he was someone who lived in those higher places. And just to, hear, he's one of the best speakers at Quest Haven. So he's coming too. So we got two reverends from Quest Haven that are going to come. Reverend Blake Isaac, he runs the place, and he's a friend of mine. And one of the wonderful examples, I always pray for him because he holds the light of the Christ for that spiritual community and for probably a lot of this area in his causal body. Very beautiful, very humble person. And he's coming July 9th. Carlos, Brother Carlos, is coming on the 5th. So maybe 2nd. And you're flying on Monday. Okay, so that's Tuesday. So much is going on. It'll probably have to be August before we can do that. But it'll be a wonderful. Hal Lingerman? I think, yeah, he was the end of the July. I think I haven't actually confirmed it. I did confirm today with Blake. So it's getting full. Lots of interesting things are going to be happening. And more of these things. And I know what we were talking about going on another pilgrimage. We went to the Lemurian in Ramona. That was fun. The Lemurians were very gracious to us. And then we went to the Buddhist place, the Kuan Yin Temple. I think we did that last month. Now there's a Hindu temple that I'm trying to plan, and I think that's probably it's called BAPS, the most beautiful Hindu temple in this part of the world. I couldn't imagine one more beautiful than that one. If you look up BAPS, the Hindu temple, it's just absolutely fantastic. They built the whole thing in India, then cut it up into little blocks and assembled it like a jigsaw puzzle over here. Impossible. Unbelievable how they did that. The carvings, you look at it, it must have been a UFO that carved it because it doesn't look like somebody could hand carve this marble.
Where is this temple?
It's in Chino Hills, is that right, Eva? Eva and I went there a couple years ago. And when you open the door to the temple and you walk inside, because it's kind of this, it's a Vastu temple. It's this kind of like rustish rock on the outside, but when you open the door to the temple, it's this white marble that's inside with these most amazing carvings inside. The whole thing is a living being. And I want to arrange to have a Brahmin priest do a puja for us as a group and stuff. So I think we'll do that in September because it gets hot out there, and that will be our third little jaunt to go out. I'll keep those things posted on Facebook or on Meetup. So if you're connected to that, it's a gas to go with our group. We are a fun group to do these little trips with.
May I say one thing?
Sure.
Yeah. I just to mention, this Saturday I'm actually teaching a 90-minute class at Bliss Yoga from 10:30 to 12. That's just basic the tools that I share. But it's always just such a brilliant, fun time. So if that's interesting or fun, then bring your friends. It's just going to be a
Carrie,
blast.
where is Bliss Yoga?
On Coast Highway in Leucadia.
In Leucadia.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you online, I guess you can Google it. Bliss Yoga, and that's this weekend, Saturday?
Yep,
at 10:30. Is that an event that's going to be on Facebook or another?
Yeah, it's on the Bliss Yoga Facebook page,
Okay.
and it's also on my website under the events tab.
What is your website?
Carrie Lake.
Carrie Lake.
KERRILAKE.com.
Carrie, do you mind doing the closing prayer for us, our group, and we'll just end this session. We have some wonderful pineapple that Ava cut up for us to share afterwards, but I want to just get off the broadcast and seal this service. Is that okay? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And thank you for the honor. Unexpected.
So we all stand.
Oh.
Come over here. Over by the candle.
You are the high priestess.
Oh, stars. It's been a while. Thank you. Honoring the hearts that have come together in this room, that have come together for the broadcast, and the hearts that will listen to the recording, not only through the internet, but through the pure waves of light that we generate together, that we share beyond time and space, throughout humanity and throughout the dimensions of our expanded community of frequencies throughout every being that exists. We're grateful by design. We're grateful because we are. Hearts communicate because they are. And we're realizing this through our mind, through our beingness, through our physicality. The awareness, the realization, the embodiment, and the action as this love is our living prayer, and we're grateful to share it. And I thank you all.
Thank you so much for that beautiful prayer. Our lives are living prayers and a gift to our brothers and sisters on earth. I want to thank everybody on the broadcast for joining us, and we will be broadcasting again tomorrow for the Divine Mother Healing Prayer and Rosary. Please join us if you can. Good night, everyone, and God bless. support. They willingly